Well, Matt, a few days now since we played Stevenage at Sutton, one of the top of the table sides. Had a couple of days to reflect on that. Must have been pleased with the way we went toe to toe with one of the top sides in the division.
I was really pleased that definitely, if they're going to be title champions or finish second, it'll be one of the two, without a doubt. They're getting promoted. They're some really good players, experienced manager, and a really good side. And like you say, went toe to toe for them, and you do have to do that with the way they play. And I respect and admire the way they play. They're really hard to play against, and you can see why they've got so many good results this season. But first and foremost, you have to stand up to them, and we can certainly do that, and we did. And first half, I was pleased with us getting on the ball at certain times and switching it, and some good passes of play. Just not quite testing the goalkeeper enough when we got into good areas. Second half, really two teams cancelling each other out, and it's really difficult in games like that when you've got to stand up to the battle. You've got to make sure you're aggressive and you're on the front foot, but then to then have the know-how, the timing, the quality, then just to have that touch and get on the ball is really difficult at times when you're so used to competing for the second ball. So it was a like you say, a tough game against arguably the best team in the league, but we were a complete match for them all over the pitch, and really pleased with the second clean sheet in a row and another point on the board.
They can go one of two ways, really, those games, can't they? When they're much looked forward to, they can either be sort of attacking feast of football, or as probably happened on Saturday, the two sides, it can be a bit cagey at times, and in the end you see sides cancel each other out. It happens at all levels. Yeah,
and that's what it was. It was just two teams cancelling each other out, and in games like that, when it is so tight, the game could and can be decided on either an error, a set piece, or a moment of quality, and you're just hoping that the first one isn't to be on your side, but you want to make sure you're a real threat set piece wise, or you can just produce that little bit of brilliance to win the game. And we were really close at the end there with a Leanne goal header, which sort of hit the defender who didn't know much about it, and I think it was definitely going in. So those are the thin dividing lines in those games, but no, it wasn't to be for either side. 0-0, and both teams move on.
Now, the opposition this Saturday, Hartlepool, at the other end of the table, but been one of the busiest sides in the division during the transfer window. So does that make it a little bit more difficult to prepare for what we're going to see on Saturday?
Well, thankfully, we're a couple of games after the window now, and the managers, since he changed, I think the previous manager got sacked after we beat them at home. So earlier on in the season, so he's been there a while. Keith Curl, an experienced manager, of course, especially at this level, and has won promotion for this level. So he knows what it's like to get results as well. So busy transfer window for him. Certainly wouldn't have the firepower financially as some of the teams down there have gone and shown over the last month, 6 weeks. But they have brought some good players in. And as we know, we've come across them many times over the years. My first ever game as a manager and my first ground as a manager. So we've played them every season since I've been a manager, and as we all know, they're extremely tough games, and especially up there with a big crowd, a loud crowd that are right tight to the pitch and very supportive and give their team and players a full backing. So they've got great off the back of a really good result at Doncaster in the last game. So as we know, and you've heard me say many times, Tony, it doesn't matter whether you're playing Stevenage up the top or one of the bottom sides, you have to earn every point in this division, and we're going to have to be right at it to go and get something out of the game up there on Saturday.
And looking at some of the players they've signed, they're players we're familiar with over the past couple of years as well. Players like Matty Dolan from Newport and Brendan Kiernan, I think, moved from Walsall. All players we've come up against and experienced players.
Yeah, as you say, yeah, players at different clubs, obviously, but players we're really familiar with. Goalkeeper on loan from Leicester as well. So, yeah, we've certainly, myself, Jace, Mickey have done our research as we always do. We're knowing what to expect. We're knowing the new players that they've signed. And as I've just said there, we're going to have to be right at it to go and get a result up there.
And the second longest trip of the season from our point of view as well, after Carlisle, possibly Barrow as well. But travelling up on Friday, I believe, going up on the train on Friday.
Yeah, we only really the longer ones that we all will go on the train. Those three you've mentioned, to be honest. Just the coach, because from where we're situated in southwest London, if we was to even train and try and leave at lunchtime, who knows what time we'd be getting up up to those sort of grounds. So it's really best that we leave early in the morning and get up, and we've got a training venue up in the northeast where we'll train early afternoon and hopefully be in the hotel by 4:30. So to try and leave first in the morning on a coach really makes that difficult. So that's why we're getting a train out of King's Cross around 10:30 on Friday morning.
And from team point of view, Lewis John missed the Stevenage game last week because of an injury. How's he looking in the rest of the squad?
Yeah, he's just letting his knees settle down. As I say, he's been playing with it recently. After the injection, too soon to him to play against Stevenage. So we're seeing how he settles down this week, and we'll be making a call nearer the game on him. Unfortunately, we've picked up another injury. We shouldn't be too bad, and might even be fit for Tuesday, but Saturday's going to come too soon for him. Obviously, I won't give away that information just yet, Tony. I'm sure you'll see that when the team sheet comes out. But no, as I say, the squad's is and has been in a really good place injury-wise. The ones waiting in the wings have had a couple of friendlies behind closed doors, so they're all fit, raring to go. So no, we're in a good place as a squad. We're fit, we're confident, great fitness levels, energy levels. We're on a good run of form, and so whoever comes in plays, whether that's from the start or off the bench, is going to make a huge impact for us.
And just to look at the league table, looking at the league table at the moment, I know we'll still say 50 points is the first target, but a strange sequence of results. We might even be in a playoff position by close of play on Saturday. Which, if you'd said that probably in the middle of October, people would have been quite impressed.
I think, I don't think I would have put money on it myself, Tony, back then, because we were going through a bit of a sticky time, and as we said, the main, not the only, but the main catalyst being the injuries. But we've really kicked on from then, got those key players back, got a couple of quite a few good additions in the January window ourselves, and the results are showing that. And 50 points is the magic number. I don't want to get quoted on it, but I believe 45, 46 will probably be enough. But 50 is guaranteed. So we're just trying to get the next 10 points on the board as quick as we possibly can. Where we are come 5 o'clock on Saturday evening is irrelevant. We're just putting points on the board. And let's say where we are, let's put that next 10 on as quick as we can. 17 games to go. Let's see where we are with 10 games to go. Business end of the season then. And hopefully we're still right in the mix to try and make that push for the playoffs, which after what we've had to go through in the first half of the season would be, again, an unbelievable achievement.
And just looking at the squad again, mentioned picking up an injury, but we've got a couple of guys that came in, Tyler Dickinson and Hisham Kasimu, who haven't featured yet, having joined us. Are they close to being involved now?
Yeah, Tyler's just come in to add competition to the goalkeeping department. Brad House had a really good loan away. Has come back in. He's really impressed with Brad, and I wouldn't have any problems with putting him in. But Tyler comes in and has good competition then, but he's new to the club and he's just getting to see how we play and train and just getting familiarising himself with all of us. So that's the competition there. And Hish has just come in, had a little bit of an abdominal problem that we're just letting settle down, and we're building him up, because from part-time football into the full-time football day in, day out, especially when you've never done it before, can take a little bit of getting used to. So we're just making sure he's acclimatised really to what's in head for him for the remainder of the season and obviously for next as well. And
a long way from home on Saturday, so supporters travelling up, important to get them behind you and give the lads as much support as possible in what's likely to be a hostile environment.
As I say, it was my first ever game, and I remember as a manager, and I remember the loud and big support that was there for me and the new team and the new squad in that first game of the season, which seems a long time ago now. But I urge the supporters there. They've been brilliant this season at home and away. It is one of the longest trips, of course, but I urge them to really, travel in the numbers as they do and really get behind the boys, because it does make a massive difference. And hopefully we're going over and giving them our thanks and applauding them for the long trip, and hopefully we're rewarding them for doing so with some more points on the road.
And given the distance between the two sides, it's strange that Sutton and Hartlepool do sort of have a connection through that, and Hartlepool being the side we played in the game where we won the National League as well. It's not often the sides that are that far apart have such a connection.
Yeah, and certainly, as you say, certainly my managerial career and my first game, the game that we won the National League with, they come up with us as well. So we've played them both in the National League and the Football League. So probably the team I've managed most against, and going for every game, they've always been hard games, and good players and players who've been there from day one.
Mm.
Since I was a manager, still playing there now. So they've had similar consistency to us, and it'll be a really tough game on Saturday.
And I think I'm right in saying they were only a penalty shootout against Rotherham away from playing it in the Papa John's final last season as well, which just been a hat trick.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be written on the cards. Yeah.
Well, Matt, we wish you well on Saturday. Wish everybody a safe trip up, and we'll see you up there on Saturday. Thanks very much.